In this video I want to give you a quick introduction to Profanity, which is a terminal-based, ncurses-based XMPP client, which also supports end-to-end encryption. In this video I will just show you how it works, so how you can register an account, how you can connect with an account, how to write messages, how to add other contacts to your roster, and also how to use end-to-end encryption. Alright, so first thing is how do you install Profanity. So how you quit Profanity is by writing /quit, and let me make this a bit bigger. And how you install it, so on Alpine it's as simple as doing apk add profanity. I already have installed, of course. And on other distros it will probably be along the same lines, because Profanity is a pretty common piece of software and it is in a lot of default repos. Alright, so to start Profanity you just write Profanity, or you just launch Profanity. Okay, so first of all I want to show you how to register an account. So how you do that is pretty simple. You type register. Oh, and before I show you that, let me first show you how to get help on something, because the documentation is pretty good, and I mean it says it here at the top also, but you can type /help to get help for the commands or for kind of groups of commands. And how you navigate this scroll back, or this buffer rather, is you can use the page up and page down keys. And let me turn on screen key for that. Not screenshot, screen key. So if I hit page up, it scrolls up a page. Yeah, I mean, how you would expect. Alright, to register, we can first type help register, and it will show you all the documentation, all the arguments you can pass, and also some examples. So we just want to use the simplest form. So we have register, then the name of our user, so let's just call him Bob, and then the server where we want to register. And I will use my own XMPP server, which has open registrations. Alright, and this will kind of use the default, so I think it will use TLS by default, and it will use the default ports, and yeah. So if I do this, I'm prompted for a password. Let's just put in a very secure password. Alright, registration successful. Now we can connect to this account, because by default it doesn't connect us after registration. So we can type connect, and then we type the username. So this is the name of our user we just specified, and then an @ and then the server. I mean, this is just normal stuff, exactly the same as with email. It also works with XMPP like that. Alright, if we hit enter, we are prompted for our password, and then we are logged in. And I don't know, for me this is showing some weird error. I don't know what this is about. I think it may be because of some misconfiguration of my server, but maybe not, because if I quit this and relaunch it and connect again with Bob, oh, and you can see I can autocomplete. Like, Profanity has great autocompletion. You can autocomplete pretty much everything. So if I connect with that again, this time it works just fine. So yeah, I don't know what that's about. Alright, now we are connected. Next up I will show you how you can send a message to another user. For that I have a second account right here. Oh, and yeah, here the same thing happened, apparently. So if I quit that again and launch Profanity again and connect to this Alice user I have, of course, Bob and Alice, what else? And type in Alice, very secure password, we are greeted with the same thing. Alright, so for Bob now to write a message to Alice, all he has to do is type in /message. Oh, and we can also look at the help for message, I guess, because it's very straightforward. You just type message, then the user you want to message, and then your message. Or you can also just open the chat, like just without sending a message. I mean, we can do that as well. So let's do it like that. Then we have this empty chat window. And so what's happening here is, what you can see is, just to explain the UI elements. So this is the user we are currently in a chat with. So this is the room with this user. The user is shown as offline. The chat is unencrypted, and these TLS and online things, these are for us, so our status. So we are connected by TLS, and we have a connection to our server. Down here we have the time. Yeah, why not? Then our username, so the user we're currently connected as, and then our session. And this session is now Profanity and then some random stuff. So this signifies our device. So this is kind of a device ID. And down here we have the different windows. We are currently on window 2. And to now switch back to window 1, and this is also one reason I have screen key on, is how to do that is by pressing Alt and then the number. So if I press Alt 1, we are switched back to window 1. And Alt 2 goes to window 2. You can also hit Alt and the arrow keys. And Yeah, no, Alt Tab doesn't work, but the arrow keys work and the numbers work. So yeah. And if we now go back to the first window, we see that we have Alice in this unsubscribed category. And this is kind of our, I think it's called roster with XMPP. So this is all your contacts basically. All right, to now write Alice a message, we can just write a message, hello there, for example. And yeah, if we now switch to the second workspace, we can see that we have these typing indicators, and then that there's an actual message, and it also displays where this message like is located, or where the chat is located. So we're currently still on workspace 1 or on window 1, and we can now switch to workspace 2 by hitting Alt 2. And Bob is already in this unsubscribed category. So let's hit Alt 2, and here we see the message. Great. Next up, I want to show you how to kind of manage your roster, because as it is now, of course, we have Bob in unsubscribed and Alice also in unsubscribed. They also don't see when the other one is online and stuff like that. So, and this is a feature of XMPP, of course, to actually know the like the status or the presence. I mean, XMPP stands for Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol. So let's go back here to now manage our roster. We can, for example, type help roster, and then we will see all the roster commands. So to add someone to our roster, we can just type roster add and then the username. And yeah, you can have groups here, you can do a nickname, you can remove people, and so like there's a lot of stuff. But if we just do roster, let's go here, roster add and then Alice add like that, Alice gets added to our roster. So Alice is now not in unsubscribed anymore, but in this offline category, because we have not subscribed to Alice's status. So this is another thing we will do in a second. And we can, of course, also do the same thing with Alice in terms of Bob. So we type roster add and then Bob add like this. Great. But they still don't see each other's presence. So we can change that by using the sub command. So if we do this, we can send a subscription request. So we can type sub request, and you see this autocompletes very nicely. And then for Alice, and this I think doesn't autocomplete, but yeah, it's fine. So let's request that. Then it says send subscription request. If we go back, received authorization request, and we can now accept this by typing sub, what was it? let me look at it. Sub allow, yeah. Sub allow Bob add, and this now autocompletes. And this autocompletion may not work if you don't have this account locally. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's fine. All right. So accepted subscription. If we now switch back, we see that Alice is actually online. So we see Alice is now in the online category. Yeah, last activity is online. Yeah, how you would expect it. We can also now go here, and we can also go into the chat, and then we don't have to type out the username. So if we, what was it, sub request? I hope. Yeah. So if we do sub request here in the chat, and we switch to the chat, we also see this request here, and then we can just type sub allowed to allowed. And then if we switch back to Alice, we see, oh, nice, Bob is also online. Cool. So yeah, I mean, it's so far so good. They now see each other. Now, what you most likely want to do is, or what you most likely want to have is end-to-end encryption, because that's kind of one of the selling points of XMPP, I would guess. I would say, rather. So, and end-to-end encryption with XMPP nowadays works by using OMEMO. So this is an implementation of the double ratchet algorithm, if I'm not mistaken, first pioneered by Signal, so the Signal messenger. And this is just a implementation for XMPP. So how you use this with profanity, with other clients, they automatically kind of enable this, but not with profanity. How you enable it, or how you can kind of know more about it is by typing help OMEMO. And this OMEMO command is now used to generate your keys, first of all, and then to trust other keys, and then start a session, for example. And it's used for a lot more stuff. For example, to set the policy. So for example, you can set the policy to automatically trust new keys, or automatically like not trust new keys and stuff like this, or trust on first sight or first use and stuff like this. I mean, you can read through all this. I will simply show you how you can generate OMEMO keys and then trust them manually for your other party. So to generate them, we type OMEMO gen, and we will use this. We will do this for Bob now and then for Alice. So it tells you it generates cryptographic materials, and if we now type OMEMO fingerprint, we should see our fingerprint. Great. So your fingerprint is this one right here. So this is the actual like cryptographic fingerprint. So this is the same, like in concept, this is the same as with GPG fingerprints. So this is unique. All right, so let's do the same with Alice. So if we type OMEMO gen, we will see the same please wait message. And then it will also generate a ID, and we can look at this with fingerprint. So this is the fingerprint for Alice. So this is kind of line wrapped. Yeah. All right, to now start a session, we can go into our chat, and then we can type OMEMO start. So let's do it like that. And if we now send a message, this should not work. So hello, this is encrypted. So this doesn't work. Can't find OMEMO device. So what we first have to do is we first have to trust the fingerprint. And to trust the fingerprint, we first have to know the fingerprint. So if you type OMEMO fingerprint, this will not work. And this is kind of I found this a bit fiddly with prosody, because sometimes it doesn't work. So like it doesn't work right away. Alright, so I kind of got it to work. This is kind of very fiddly, I feel like, because I have both of these users on the same system, and they generate the first generate OMEMO keys at the same time for both of them. So it kind of, yeah, I don't know, in the past when I used this like in real life, it worked better. So what I did now was I called OMEMO clear device list, because I'm right now in this Alice user. And if I go to the first workspace, or the first window rather, and now I type OMEMO fingerprint, this will list my own fingerprint, but then it will say there are no known fingerprints for Alice. So this is kind of a bit schizophrenic, I guess. So if I now type in this OMEMO clear device list command, and we can, let's look at the help for this again. So this clear device list, clear your own device list on server side. Each client will re-announce itself when connected back. So I don't know, I just did it for Bob and then it worked. But right now if I switch to Bob and I type OMEMO fingerprint in the Alice chat, it still doesn't work. So if I now type this clear list, so let me do it like that. And I now type fingerprint again, it will now say your fingerprint is this. Oh, and Alice's, which we are, fingerprint is also this. Haha, how great. So yeah, I think this kind of fixes it. So if I now type OMEMO fingerprint, it still doesn't work. But if I end the session, it still doesn't work. So now it works. So I just ended the OMEMO session and started it again, and now it is showing me the fingerprint for Alice. Again, this is a bit fiddly in profanity. It works better on other clients, but I think you can figure it out. Maybe. So okay, but we still haven't done anything. We see the other person's yeah. So we see Alice's fingerprint. What we haven't trusted it yet. So if we now type something, it will still show us this error. What we first have to do is we first have to type OMEMO trust, and then we can specify the contact. But this is only to explicitly specify it. Implicitly, it will insert Alice as a contact because that's the window we're currently on, and then the fingerprint. And I will simply copy it like this. So if I trust this now, I've trusted it, and I can now also trust Bob's fingerprint from Alice's perspective. So I type OMEMO trust, and then, oh no, this is wrong. I need to be in this window. This, and this is Bob's fingerprint, yeah. So if we trust this, so Bob and Alice have trusted each other's fingerprint, OMEMO fingerprint, so they can now write OMEMO encrypted messages. And you can start and stop the OMEMO setting by hitting start and stop, but I'll show you again in a second. So if I now type something, for example, hello there, this is sent to Alice, Alice receives it, and it's encrypted. So this is shown by this tilde right here, and also by right at the top it says OMEMO. And we can now answer, of course, answer hello. And this, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a chat. Okay, to now stop this OMEMO session, we can do what I mean session, this omemo setting, we can type omemo end and then type hello unencrypted. And this is now again with the hyphen. And if we switch to Bob's perspective, we receive this message also with the hyphen. And if we answer here, it will send it encrypted again because Bob has still enabled the omemo setting. So yeah, Alice and Bob can now write end-to-end encrypted over XMPP over their terminals. And I mean, yeah, so that's it. So this is great, of course, because now the server administrator or whoever possibly compromises the server, if that happens, can't read their messages. Like, it's encrypted end-to-end. One additional thing I want to show you is, because you might think, well, this one line here, this is kind of stupid. I mean, it's fine for writing like short, like text messages like hello there or answer here or something like this. But for anything longer, I mean, this is kind of unusable. So what you can do is you can use the editor command, and I can show you the help for this. Help editor. So what this does is it will spawn an external editor to edit the message. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty simple. So you type editor, then your default editor opens up, and let me make this a bit smaller. So for me, it's Emacs, or more specifically Emacs client, because I use Emacs server, and I can now write something here. And so this will, I haven't enabled omemo, I just saw, but I mean, it doesn't matter for this example. Something longer here, for example. I mean, you can, I mean, this is an editor. You can use all your editor's things. I mean, if you use Vim or NeVim, you will edit this in Vim or NeVim. So if I write this now and then close my editor, and you can see down here, it's kind of a temporary file in this .local directory. If I close it now, you see my input like appears here in this input line, and then I can just send it if I want to, like this. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. So like this, you can write longer messages from Profanity. So yes, this was, I think, all the basics for Profanity. Profanity has a lot more options and it has a lot more features. It can send attachments, it can download attachments, all end-to-end encrypted, of course. You can have plugins with it, you can have like emojis and stuff like that. I mean, Profanity is really a great piece of software and a great XMPP client. Yeah, so I hope this introduction was useful to you. I hope you can get started using Profanity. You can, if you want to try it out and don't have an XMPP account and don't have your own server, you can use my server. I have open registrations, and you can also write me a message if you want to, of course. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. That's all I wanted to say. And have a nice day.